I'm Elizabeth Weezer and I am with Group 6, and this is our last group discussion for the class. Woohoo! Today we're going to discuss the Michelle Fine video that we watched, and I'm actually going to ask a little bit different question because something that happened while I was actually watching the video. So the Michelle Fine video talked about youth participatory action research, which I think ties in obviously to the Right book that we read this semester. The one thing that really stood out to me throughout the chapters, throughout her reading as well, was that we need to make sure that we are giving voice to the people who are actually experiencing the oppression or the injustices. Talked about that the people who experience the injustices have invaluable knowledge, and these are the people that are going to come up with solutions to these problems. And I think throughout the books, the Right chapter, and throughout the readings in the semester as well, is that we need to give voice to those people because they have a knowledge, even though they're not heard all the time, they should be, because these are the people who are going to have real experience with injustice, and they're going to be the ones that come up with solutions. Something that she mentioned that I didn't feel like we really addressed in the books was the fact that when we talk about having the people who are experiencing the injustice have a seat at the table, they also need to have a seat at the table with the people who are privileged not to have that oppression. And I thought that was something we really didn't discuss throughout this semester, was that part of that aspect as well, that because they do tie together, the people who are experiencing injustice and the people who are privileged not to are really perpetuating the injustices that are happening, and then to be made aware. And I thought that was something that we didn't really discuss throughout the chapter, but I thought it was really important in the video. She also discussed in detail the Echoes and Brown, and I thought that was a really cool aspect, talking about how they did the data spoke to them, and they chose to do spoken word and the dance through the data. And I thought that was something I never really thought about before, but I thought it was a really cool idea. In the video, at the very end, of course, watching the video, yeah, I get it, I agree. And then, of course, when the mayor talks and you hear him and you just really feel something different, it's a visceral feeling. And I think that's really what comes down to this participatory action research as well, is that they feel it on a level. The children and the people who are experiencing injustice, they really feel something, and they need to be the ones involved with it. And when you listen to him, it really kind of moved me, and I thought that was really important. So while watching this video, my brother happened to be here. We have a family emergency this week, and he's here. And so I was trying to get some homework done in between taking care of some family business. And he's listening to the video, and he's like, "This is a load of crap." What? And he said, "Oh, they're just patting themselves on the back." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "It's about getting the kids involved. And it's important for them to have a voice in the research." And he said, "Kids don't want to do research." I said, "Yeah, they do. They want to be involved. It involves them when it's relative to them." And he said, "No, they don't." And I thought, this is exactly why we need youth participatory action research, because he's an educator at the college level, and he's buying into that deficit thinking. And I thought simply that little moment right there where he was speaking to me, he was perpetuating the deficit thinking, and I thought, we've got to do this. We need to have more of this. And I thought it was really kind of crazy that my own brother sitting there saying exactly what she's arguing against. So I guess my questions for you are, throughout the semester, did you find yourself maybe perpetuating any deficit thinking without realizing it? And if you haven't, great, good job to you. I know I personally did, and I didn't even realize it. I'm such an advocate for the children, but I felt like maybe I did perpetuate some deficit thinking when it came to the education of my teachers. If you haven't, that's great. My next question would be, what do you plan to utilize from this participatory action research in your classrooms if you're teaching? And if you're not teaching, how do you plan to use it maybe in your community? I would love to hear some ideas, some real ideas about what you can do personally in your classroom or even in your community. I really learned a lot from everybody this year. I've enjoyed the discussions. It's been long, but I think I've really learned a lot about myself, and hopefully some of that will be able to translate into my classroom, along with leadership skills for my teachers. So thank you guys. Can't wait to hear from you.